Hello and good day. You've tuned in with the Exclusive, and we're going to be discussing an update on the government partial shutdown that started December 22nd. Now we're basically 3 weeks in almost. It is January 10th today, and President Trump would like us to no longer call it a shutdown, but refer to it as a strike. Although a strike is usually referring to individuals who have uh, agreed to withhold working and receiving compensation until they've reached a agreeable term. This doesn't really seem to be a strike, in my opinion, for the simple fact that government workers aren't asking, federal workers are not asking to be without pay. In fact, you have to wonder how many federal workers were Republicans, and I say the word were because as of those who are facing eviction, backed up bills, bad credit, things they never thought they had to face because their job was always secure. This puts you in a different position because as of now, they're claiming workers are calling in now and seeking other jobs and opportunities. Does that mean you'll have to diminish if you've been working a position 15, 20 years? It's just, this is a wake up call. I know, so much in just a minute and 30 seconds. I'm going too much. So I will slow it down. All right. So, what we are looking at this point is Trump is backed up against the wall, but he's not going to be taking it lying down. If you are used to the Trump card, as I am, that's why I like to call him the Trump card, because you actually never know, if you have the Trump card in your hand, the game can literally go either way. So if you look at America, and this was a poker game, we've consistently called his bluff, and as you can see, he's not backing down. So this calls to question, what do we do as Americans? Do we look for other options? At this point, I say, he's at the Wolves update last. He's decided to go from steel to see through, but still, or whatever he's going to be doing, but to give you more of a chance to see people trying to get over it and not able to. Now, my thing is very simple. If we're so focused on not making Americans pay, why don't we look at the airlines that we bailed out? And I say we as Americans because taxpayers pay for the money that goes into these bailouts. So if you say for a second, if each airline charged a fee coming in to America, meaning as long as you're flying within America, you don't pay a fee. But if you're coming into America, you would be paying a border security fee per person. I could see the money coming from there and supplying the purpose, although I'm still against, you know, sealing off our neighbors. If you're going to seal off Mexico, you might as well also return all the individuals that are incarcerated that we're paying tax dollars for. Like, it goes a long way, but then you're going to say if you started at Mexicans, you can't end there. Now you have to go over to other races that you feel shouldn't be here. And how is it our place to feel, if they've earned the right to come over here, so be it. Otherwise, present the opportunity, but now it's become a pick of a lottery. Like, in order to come here now, you're going to have to meet so many criterias, which for those who are suffering, it's basically saying we're no longer the free world. I needed to pause on that so you can hear what that means. The free world, it's not come here and get everything free. Of course not. It means work hard and get an opportunity and freedom to live a little bit better, and not better, but better in terms of rules and regulations. America is a business in my mind. The country is monetized. I think we focus so much on the money, money, money that we no longer even value money. It's you work a certain career, then that you're worth this. You look at people who have really, like, for instance, the individual R. Kelly, the celebrity, and you see individuals with all this money and there's no money left, or clout or credibility of what? That are getting away with a lot of things. In America, we need to focus on us right now and cleaning up our closet because at this point, our future is in danger, not just by the shutdown, but by our actions if we do not change prior to the shutdown. It was us who put the Trump card in office. At least I believe at least half of the individuals that are currently out of work due to the strike is possibly wondering, let's just take out the possibly wondering. Half of those individuals possibly voted for Trump. Did they realize how many years later that Trump would use them as a Trump card? The problem you have now is what about all these individuals that found other ways now who were working for us and found new jobs, new opportunities, found new ways, and they don't return? We are changing up the demographics so much. And what about those who called in and get penalized now because they didn't stay through and continue to work for free in America, the land of the free? So here's the catch. What we're after, the value has to be absolutely worth it. And I asked a question earlier myself. So when I ask the question, I'm going to explain the question. The question is simple. When is it greed, American greed, that is placing us into this position? And when I say American greed, I mean we don't want to do the jobs that illegals and or underqualified individuals do. Be realistic. You're paying for the nannies, you're paying for the pool guy, you're paying for the valet, you're paying for the work to go out there. I mean, we have been we have been messing with the forgotten man for so long that it's not gonna go right. And I say this with a clear mind because let's take for instance the food stamps are cut down now, Section 8, and so forth. Now, as an entrepreneur, and a lot of entrepreneurs and others who do not focus on government related work or assistance, they're moving like it's a regular day to day. They're absolutely not concerned with the shutdown. And when you look at it from that point of view, it means Americans who have a federal position or who probably have been more responsible in dealing with taxes, handling many other things, rules and regulation, they're being more penalized. So those who said I don't want to work for someone, I'm going to go out and get my own. Those who said I'm going to spend all my time working with charities, functions, getting government grants, and not seeing the money coming in now. Everybody's worrying. Everybody's pacing. Not everybody. Enough. And you have to ask yourself, didn't we see this coming? And if we did, or even if we didn't, what do we do now? I believe now is the time to check out America and its opportunities that you've been ignoring from being so comfortable in your situation. While it's easy to say, I am grateful that many people are still finding ways to survive. Pardon me. Excuse me, everybody. But what we have to look at right now is simple. You know, growing food from home, you know, food stamps. If you, I say, it is okay to reduce food stamps. What type of reduction is the type? If you're going to reduce food stamps, limit it to certain types of food, dairy, cereals, things like kids eat, and meats and fruits and vegetables, things you would get from farmers. Put the money back into the locals. Let the farmers supply the supermarkets, and the money to the supermarkets and farming. You know, if you're really focused on it, do it. Don't say, hey, this is how it's going to work, because in reality, it's not. And I'm saying this because there's no way possible that we can offer and provide and train in such advanced opportunities, yet we cannot get ourselves out of debt. Is that I thought America was working on its credit. We got to. So what I'm asking us to do is different than normal. I'm asking for us to say, hey, yes, I have a government funded program. How can I now make it self-funded, independently funded? You know, incorporate ideas, programs, and different features that can make it start paying for itself. Why? Because the government can't take it forever. You understand? It has to come from somewhere, revolve. Right now, if you had to look at what Trump is doing, he's basically cleansing it. He's cleansing. He's gonna leave it to a point where you're gonna have no choice but to look for other options and hopefully not riot. Thus making it unnecessary by cutting half of the people that's on it off because there is none for them, so they're not on it anymore. Now, if that makes sense to you, let me know. Now, if I look at it from that point of view, for someone who spends a lot on taxes, property taxes, and so forth, I would say, okay, I can work with that. I can work with that. You understand? But at the same time, I can't because that means there's a family out there starving. So, do we penalize many? They blame immigrants for the high welfare, but are they? There's more to it than that. Should we just immediately wire immigrants to getting welfare? If they're applying for welfare, that's why I understood the new rules, expecting more out of people, have collateral if you're coming over as far as collateral educationally. I'm not talking about financially. And the reason I say this is because I can understand it. It doesn't mean I agree with it or disagree with it. I'm taking a impartial look at the way we see things and how we need to see things. And quite frankly, if you're familiar with certain stuff, then you understand how serious this really is. You get where I'm going? We're in a different type of era where it's not going to work to ignore change. Change is dry up. It's inevitable. You understand? Failure to change is going to be the destruction of us. And when I say change goes down to greed, it goes down to credibility, it goes down to environment, materials, the price we set on products. Like, for instance, brand new $60,000 car hit a Buick the other day, a Bronco, and it smashed it. And that means we're spending 10 times more for something with 100% less stability, security. It's time to change. And I'm going to wrap this up this morning. And with the update, all I'm saying is simple. The bickering back and forth is not going to work. What it requires now is to look at different business opportunities we can present as a nation to help all. Okay? It's to a point where welfare needs to be paying for itself. Department of Social Services, put people to work, make them work it off and put that money back in. Put people to do certain things. You understand? Make it to a point now it's paying for itself. Taxpayers should not be paying for it anymore. The same thing with the prisons. The prisons should be paying for themselves, put them to work. We are a nation at this point that should be independent of certain things regarding the government. I see government regarding security, which is correct, border patrol and so forth. I see government responsible for police. That means you can raise the money from them for what you pay police because you decreased it on what you're spending on food stamps because they can no longer just go get every brand new name brand, every luxury lobster. They can now get real food. That will decrease the overweight. That's why people are overweight. They can buy the best for free. We aren't looking at the reality of these situations and saying we need to address it. What's your thoughts? Send them in.